Hello, Batman enthusiasts, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we venture into the shadowy alleys of Gotham to explore the remarkable evolution of one of the most iconic characters in modern fiction, the Batman. From his debut as a brooding vigilante to his rise as a global pop culture symbol, Batman's legacy is as intricate and compelling as the Dark Knight himself. Our story begins not in Gotham, but in the bustling offices of National Allied Publications, later to become DC Comics, in 1939. Following the runaway success of Superman, editor Vin Sullivan requested a new superhero. Artist Bob Kane quickly sketched a figure often credited as Batman's sole creator. However, the true architect of Batman, as we know him, was his uncredited collaborator, writer Bill Finger. It was Finger who suggested the cowl instead of a domino mask, the scalloped cape, the gloomy atmosphere, and crucially, the detective skills. He drew inspiration from pulp heroes like The Shadow, Zorro, and classic detectives like Sherlock Holmes. On March 30th, 1939, Batman made his debut in Detective Comics number 27. He was a grim, brutal figure, initially even carrying firearms. But it was in Detective Comics number 33 that Finger crafted the iconic origin story, the murder of young Bruce Wayne's parents, Thomas and Martha, in Crime Alley, witnessing which forged his lifelong vow to fight crime. This singular trauma became the foundational pillar of the character. The Golden Age saw rapid expansion for the Caped Crusader. Key members of his rogues gallery, including the Joker, Catwoman, and the Penguin, were introduced within the first year. In 1940, the introduction of Robin, the Boy Wonder, added a dynamic sidekick, lightening Batman's grim demeanor and making the character more accessible to younger readers. The Bat family began to form with Alfred Pennyworth, joining in 1943. As the Golden Age faded, the 1950s ushered in the Silver Age of comics, and with it, a dramatic shift for Batman. Under the shadow of the Comics Code Authority and a general trend towards sci-fi, Batman became less a grim detective and more a whimsical adventurer. Stories featured outlandish alien threats, time travel, and increasingly bizarre gadgets. Characters like Batmite and Ace the Bat Hound embodied this lighter, often campy tone. This camp sensibility reached its zenith with the Batman television series starring Adam West and Burt Ward, which premiered in 1966. While a massive pop culture sensation, it cemented a light-hearted, almost comedic image of Batman that would take years, even decades, to shake off. By the late 1960s and early 1970s, comic books were undergoing another transformation, moving away from the Silver Age's innocence. For Batman, this meant a deliberate effort to return to his darker, detective roots. This era, often called the Bronze Age, was spearheaded by writer Denny O'Neil and artist Neil Adams. O'Neil and Adams stripped away the camp, re-establishing Batman as a brooding Gothic figure, an expert martial artist, and a master detective. Villains like the Joker and the Penguin regained their menace, and new formidable foes like Ra's al Ghul were introduced. This creative team redefined the character's core, emphasizing his intellect and his psychological depth over fantastical gadgets. This darker direction laid the groundwork for some of the most impactful Batman stories of the late Bronze Age, early Modern Age, including Alan Moore's harrowing psychological study, The Killing Joke, and the infamous A Death in the Family, where readers voted to decide the fate of Jason Todd, the second Robin. These stories pushed Batman to his emotional limits and proved the character's capacity for profound narrative. The mid-1980s marked a seismic shift for Batman, largely due to the groundbreaking work of writer and artist Frank Miller. His 1986 miniseries, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, deconstructed the superhero mythos, presenting an aging, brutal Batman in a dystopian future. It was raw, powerful, and utterly redefined what a superhero comic could be. Following that, Miller collaborated with artist David Mazzucchelli on Batman: Year One, which retold Bruce Wayne's early days as Batman with a gritty, realistic approach. These two works, alongside the broader Crisis on Infinite Earths event, reset the character's continuity and set the stage for the modern era. The modern age saw Batman navigate a series of epic, long-form narratives. Nightfall saw Batman's back broken by Bane, briefly replaced by Azrael. No Man's Land chronicled Gotham's descent into anarchy after an earthquake. Jeff Loeb and Jim Lee's Hush delivered a visually stunning mystery that brought together Batman's entire rogues gallery. Later, Grant Morrison's ambitious, years-long run explored the character's entire history, questioning his sanity, and even introducing Damian Wayne as his son. This era solidified Batman as a complex, psychologically compelling figure, capable of carrying incredibly intricate narratives. Batman's influence extends far beyond the comic book page, creating a multi-generational cultural phenomenon through various media adaptations. Arguably, one of the most beloved and influential is Batman, the animated series, which premiered in 1992. With its distinctive dark deco art style, mature storytelling, and iconic voice acting by Kevin Conroy as Batman and Mark Hamill as the Joker, it captured the essence of the character perfectly. It even introduced the now iconic Harley Quinn. In cinema, Batman has seen numerous interpretations. Tim Burton's 1989 Batman, starring Michael Keaton, brought a gothic grandeur and darker tone back to the mainstream. The Joel Schumacher films, though visually distinct, leaned back into the camp. Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy, starring Christian Bale, redefined the superhero genre, grounding Batman in a gritty, realistic world, culminating in The Dark Knight, a film often hailed as one of the greatest superhero movies ever made. More recently, Ben Affleck portrayed a brutal, weary Batman in the DCEU, and Robert Pattinson donned the cowl for Matt Reeves' critically acclaimed The Batman, returning the character to his roots as a meticulous detective in a perpetually rainy, despondent Gotham. But perhaps no adaptation has captured the immersive experience of being Batman as effectively as the Batman Arkham video game series. Beginning with Arkham Asylum in 2009, these games offered unparalleled combat, detective mechanics, and a rich, atmospheric Gotham City, allowing players to truly be the Dark Knight. They set a new standard for superhero video games and deepened the lore for a new generation. From his pulpy origins to his status as a global multimedia icon, Batman has evolved, adapted, and been endlessly reinterpreted. Yet at his core, the fundamental elements remain: the tragic origin, the unwavering vow, the reliance on intellect and training over superpowers, the complex relationship with his city, and a rogues gallery that mirrors his own psychological struggles. He embodies the idea that even in a world of gods and monsters, a human being, through sheer will, intellect, and an uncompromising moral code, can make a difference. He is relatable precisely because he is human, flawed, and driven by a trauma that audiences understand. He is a symbol of resilience, justice, and the eternal fight against the darkness within and without. As DC Comics and Warner Brothers continue to explore new narratives across comics, films, and games, Batman's legacy is secure. He will continue to inspire, entertain, and challenge us, proving time and again that even without superpowers, a man can be extraordinary. What's your favorite era of Batman, or your preferred interpretation of the Dark Knight? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button, subscribe for more content about your favorite heroes and villains, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video.